I have finished. Another little superhero thing. Another little superhero romp. I have finished the new movie, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool v Wolverine, Dawn of Idiocracy.
Pew, pew, pew.
I think that was a very apt title. Having now seen this movie, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Well, I did write the movie.
I have some questions.
They were actually good. They had a couple of movie titles in the works for this.
Yes, yeah.
The original movie title that they were going for was Deadpool and Friend.
Yep.
Up until the day before they were going to show the trailer, in which the title leaked and everyone hated it. It was like Ryan Reynolds and I don't know, Sean Levy or whatever. Like, nope, this is the title that we're doing. We want Deadpool and Friend. We think that's funny. Title leaked. Everyone's like, this is atrocious and terrible. It snapped for them. Oh, this is bad. This was the day before the Super Bowl or whatever. Like I think it was a Super Bowl trailer. And they called up Disney and they're like, hey, we need to change it.
Is this true?
Yes.
Wow.
Like, we can't change it.
I wish it was called Deadpool and Friend.
We've sent out, cardboard,
Yeah.
cinema stands, all of that, posters out. We've sent it everywhere. We can't just change the title like that. Like, there's so much. We can't just do that. And they said, Ryan Reynolds said, I will only call this movie Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll say, only refer to it like that in interviews. That's what we need to change it to. I don't give a fuck. I think, look.
I'm astonished that Marvel let them call it anything other than that in the first place.
I think that Ryan Reynolds has gotten a bit, ever since getting the first Deadpool movie made.
He's like, I can do anything.
Right?
My producing talents are unmatched and I own this IP.
He's like, I could just force them to do whatever I want. Anyways, he forced them to do whatever they wanted.
It's Marvel Jesus.
They changed it. Within 24 hours, they did a whole design turnaround, sent out all new promotional materials to everyone.
Wow. That's unhinged.
Crazy. They were also going to call it, actually I might search it up because an original idea for this film was to have it go by a very generic title.
Oh, like Deadpool 3?
No. Hold on, let me find out.
Like All About You. Like The Idea of You. Like 10 Things I Hate About You. Like another rom-com ending with the word you.
No, it's going to be called Alpha Cop.
Oh, God.
No. Hear me out, right?
Yeah, no, it's awful, but I if it's meant to be awful, that I like it. But why?
It would feature two cops sharing one brain. It was a terrible generic action flick. And 5 to 10 minutes into this movie, the Marvel logo was going to show up, and it was going to be secretly Deadpool and Wolverine. So there would be 10 people on opening weekend who went and saw Alpha Cop.
I wish.
Right?
I wish that this could happen.
That would be.
It's just so you can't market it until it's out.
Yeah.
And there are a small number of us who are going to absolutely love that, but the majority of people will just be confused. And these big tentpole movies are all about just casting the net as wide as possible.
Now,
I dream of Alpha Cop.
Now you say that, but also there are a lot of things in this film that a very minuscule amount of people got.
Yeah, but they're not the
on.
marketing for the entire movie. They're things once you're in there.
That's true. But yeah, I really wish Alpha Cop happened. That would have been so good, right?
God.
Should we talk about this movie, Deadpool?
Yeah, let's talk about what's actually in it.
So we went and saw it with a few friends. It
was like a callback. I felt like I was 5 or 10 years younger.
Right?
There was a Marvel movie in cinemas, and I went, and there was a group of people there. And it was Deadpool.
And I haven't gone and seen a Marvel movie in cinemas in a hot minute.
Yeah. I was trying to remember the last one and I couldn't.
Well, yeah, maybe Far From No. Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. No. But yeah.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness, maybe. Which this movie reminded me a lot of Multiverse of Madness.
No, Guardians.
Oh, Guardians was the one that I saw most recently.
I forgot because it was good.
Yeah. Do you like Deadpool?
As I said in my coming up last week, when I'm watching a Deadpool movie, I'm having a good time. I'm laughing. I'm enjoying references and cameos. I'm enjoying the performance of the actors. I'm enjoying the action. I'm enjoying how silly it is. The minute I leave a Deadpool film, I go, I didn't like it, and I think it's cheap humor, and we're better than this, and I didn't like that you had to have seen heaps of other things to get the jokes, and I don't like Ryan Reynolds. And then I watch the next Deadpool movie, and I go, nice. That's exactly what happened. I knew down to a T. I called exactly what I didn't know. I went in with an open mind thinking like, I might really like this, or I might really not like this. And within about 2 minutes of the movie starting, cackling like a maniac, within about 2 minutes of the movie ending, I was like, that wasn't very good. And both of those things are true.
Yeah, this movie is a classic Deadpool. You have some raunchy, funny jokes. You have a serviceable character arc. Well, I'll get into that a bit later. But you know, if you've seen the first Deadpool films, you kind of know what to go in for. This one's obviously Deadpool and Wolverine. They also talked about this film as if it is not just a Deadpool 3, it is a Deadpool and Wolverine story. You know, we're following both of the characters, not Deadpool sidekick Wolverine or vice versa. Yeah, this film, I feel like we should say, follows the arc of Deadpool sort of being introduced into the MCU in a way.
I followed almost everything except Loki Season 2, and I was still like, which universe is everyone from? I kept like, we're not doing spoilers yet, are we? I'll wait.
No.
I'll wait.
But basically, Deadpool's on the hunt for a Wolverine that he can go on a bit of an adventure with, and along the way, they, I don't know, have to fight villains and heroes from different universes.
I feel like this is exactly what I expected. Not in the sense that, like, if you asked me to write down before I went in what I thought would happen, I would have written this plot. Because I would have got it wildly wrong. But, like, in terms of vibes, quality, runtime, tone, I just feel like marketing, it's just exactly what I thought it would be.
Gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed by the fact of how much it is what the trailer set it out to be. Because I watched the trailer.
Damn it! Not false advertising.
Yeah, I was like, it's going to be more than this. I'm just waiting for, you know, this is probably the first half of the movie, the first third, whatever. They're using clips from that. Yeah. But when I get in there, there's going to be a lot of, you know, a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm souring on this film. I don't think I like it as much as the first and second one.
Yeah, I think that it's not quite as good.
Yeah. I think that there are a couple of main reasons for that. I think that the one thing that stands out to me, just because it's literally visual, the color grading isn't as good. Like, a lot of this movie takes place in a Mad Max-esque wasteland, but it's if they didn't do any color grading and they filmed Mad Max on like a vaguely dirty beach.
It looks fake, and they also have an additional secondary problem, which is that the two main characters are invincible. So
I thought you were going to say a CGI.
Basically that.
Yeah.
Just nothing lands for me. And so we're going through, like, the thing that you can say, whether or however you feel about Mad Max, the one thing you can say about it is, like, it's kinetic. It has impact. Stuff happens and you feel it.
Yes.
And that's colors, that's the way it's shot, that's the performances, and that's the materials of that world.
Yeah.
This wasteland didn't. Yeah, I'm feeling what you're feeling. Yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Some bits of, you know, one of the best bits of Wolverine, not Wolverine, Deadpool, is that he's sort of cartoony. You know, he can break an arm and then it snaps back. You know, he can be thrown around. He can be a classic man. He was a Mandalorian before Mandalorian.
The first, you didn't call him Brawler, what did you call him? Tussler. The first Tussler.
The first Tussler. But I think when, you have a matchup with Wolverine, who's a more bruteful, also invincible person. Yeah, I get what you mean. But yeah, the world didn't seem very inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a wasteland, but you can make a wasteland look good.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, agreed.
I also think because it's a wasteland, a lot of it felt very, this is blue screen.
Yes.
And a lot of the fight scenes. And I think it wasn't extremely inspired. A lot of this film is, you know, they really pepper throughout cameos and references, which I like in a lot of scenarios. But when we're in this place and, here's the 20th Century Fox logo in the wasteland, and here's a helicarrier in the wasteland, and here's a Asgard in the wasteland, but they're just sort of wastelanded things. Like they don't enter, they're just things in the background.
Yes.
They don't mean anything.
I have more to say on this in spoilers, but yes, is all I'll say for now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I also think that I've really been thinking about this a lot. I really liked Deadpool 1 and I thought I liked Deadpool 2 more than Deadpool 1, but when we watched it recently, I think I still like Deadpool 1 better. But both of those films have some character arc that Deadpool goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't have that really. Like if you think about it, what does Deadpool have a...
Well, it takes him backwards. And then at the end, he arrives at the point where he was when these movies started.
Yeah.
That he is Deadpool. It's like a weird reverse re-origin story.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Like,
I didn't feel emotionally connected to any version of Wade Wilson in this. And oh boy, are there versions of Wade Wilson.
The first one is really good. It is a classic revenge.
Yeah.
And it's a revenge with a character who is angry, invincible, and humorous.
Yeah, and nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. So he is going after the person that did him wrong in whatever means he can, making fun of... Like, the wit really works.
Yes.
He's making fun of this asshole who did awful things to him, made him into a mutant that he didn't want to be. It's great. He's also a guy with cancer and we feel that hurt. The second one, in Deadpool 2, we have him trying to become a better person, trying to become an X-Man, but doesn't know really how to do it and is still butting heads with the X-Men and, is only when there's a kid who he seems going down the same path that he's sort of taken is he able to, I don't know, become that role model that he has been trying to figure out how to be. So there's an arc there. And
this movie has a very similar setup. You see a flashback to him trying to get into the Avengers. Yes. And it's like, okay, so that's the pitch. He's got to become whatever, like, good enough is.
Yes.
Like, he's got to find within himself the motivation to do it for others, not for himself.
Yeah.
Do it because they need it, not because you need it.
But for what?
It never happens.
I think the only... No. And
I didn't get anywhere.
I think the reason for that is it's a bit meta in the way of he needs to find worth to join the MCU. Now that Marvel/Disney has... Disney's bought Fox and all the X-Men are coming over to the MCU. And, most of the X-Men, they're killing the franchise. Like, all of it's dead, but Deadpool might be the one to survive. We have Deadpool trying to prove himself as someone worthy of being in the MCU. But it just doesn't actually... I think because it's not... Because that's a meta... motivation and not a characterful motivation. It doesn't really...
Which, like, I can imagine a world in which it did work, but that connection just isn't drawn clearly enough here. He's banging on about how he's Marvel Jesus and how he's going to end up in the MCU, but it's just not there. It just didn't come together for me.
Yeah. I did... We've spoken a bit on things that we don't like. I did like a lot of this film.
I had a great time the whole way through.
I had a really good time.
It's one of my favorite cinema experiences of this year.
The humor
just not very good.
I liked the humor. I liked, I did like a lot of the characters individually. I thought a lot of the, I thought a lot of the characters were really funny. The main villain was somewhat interesting. The sort of pseudo other villain that, secondary villain, I guess you'd say. I thought he was really funny. Like, I just...
Oh, you had the villains in a different order to me.
I did like, there's a great action scene that takes place within a small confined space.
I'm squinting, listeners. I'm trying to figure out which one.
It was a classic, some men were going to do a fight on a train, except it wasn't a train. It was a different thing. And it was very... Think a train, but smaller and not on rails.
Think worse for the environment.
Yeah, like that. We're not spoiling it. But I think that was one of the best action sequences because it was shot really well.
It's funny.
It was fun. It was in an actual real space with real...
Ish.
Well, like in the way of the rules of that space.
Yes.
Whereas when you're fighting in a big wasteland... It's open. If you're fighting, I don't know, in a diner or something, it's whatever. If you're fighting in a fake, TVA room, it's like, well, what are the rules of this space?
Yes.
I haven't been there.
Yes.
I've been in that thing. Maybe not that
say it.
Thing. No.
Okay.
It's the hill that I'm dying on.
All right.
Not referencing that this one fight scene takes place in a minivan.
And I respect that. Oh, boy.
Yeah, always. Oh god! But some of the fight scenes in like Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, even though they don't have the budget, Deadpool 2 has a great opening fight scene where he's fighting through a bunch of mobsters, goes I think to Japan to the Yakuza, and there's a great scene there where he like jumps through the window of a building and slices up a bunch of people. It's all in these neon lights. It feels kind of John Wick-esque. The colors are vibrant but dark. They don't feel drab like they really do here. And I just feel like we've lost a bit of something.
Yeah.
Also,
It feels like glazed. I don't know what with, but yeah.
the other movies had nudity in them. This one has no nudity.
You think that's the problem?
I think that's the problem.
Wolverine's shirt comes off.
That's not nudity. Wolverine's shirt is always off in literally
Everything he's been in.
So that's just one thing where I'm like, they make jokes about, we can't talk about cocaine. We can't do any cocaine jokes. Feige said no.
Yeah.
But there's legitimately no nudity, and
You think that's an issue?
I would not. I just think it's something to note.
Okay.
Just as I know how it sounds, but I'm like, it takes away a bit of
Edginess?
grit. Like I think it's just a product of the grit and the rawness that the Deadpool movies sort of were in the first and second one. Where it's like literally no holds barred. You know, it's like do whatever you want. This is an R-rated superhero, and in this, it's like we're still the R-rated superhero. It's not going to be as dark and gritty, and we're going to make jokes at the expense of the studio and stuff. But it's less like actually. I don't know. I think it's just an interesting thing to note.
Well, I don't think it is, but that's cool. That's fine. That's why we do this podcast. Wasn't even a thing that I'd thought of.
I only thought of it when I thought of the Japan fight scene in Deadpool 2, where I think quite a few of the characters in that are like in a sauna or something, and then they suddenly Deadpool's there, slice them up, then they have to get up and the towels fall off and stuff. So I'm like, because it's just, I don't know. I think historically nudity is a thing that is differentiated.
Sure.
Mature films or unrated films or films that you're not meant to see, especially with things like the Hays Code and stuff like that. It's like, and I think that Deadpool, especially the first one, is like that's a superhero movie that was restricted to, they were like, no, we're not going to do a Deadpool. It's not going to be our whatever. Until they leaked the footage and people were like, actually, we want to see this. So it is emblematic of that. This is a movie you're not meant to see.
Sure.
Like a superhero, R-rated superhero, you felt a bit like it was a bit taboo to see it. I just think that maybe if they put a few willies, a few for JJs in this film, it would be better.
Cool.
You happy I said that?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm happy you said how you really feel.
Can we talk spoilers?
Please.
All right. Spoil this movie for me, Reuben.
All right. That silence probably won't show up in the edit, but I just vagued out. I just couldn't think of a single
Cameos,
thing
baby.
Yeah, Gambit's in it. There you go. Channing Tatum Gambit. There's a spoiler for you. X-23, but that was in the trailer. Sabretooth is in this. Has a long-awaited fight with Wolverine. Dies instantly. Love that choice.
We have Captain America.
But do we?
No, it's actually. I didn't for 1 second think that it was it was Captain America.
I didn't clock the Johnny Storm thing though until they showed it.
Well, I only got
even the flames. I was like, who is this?
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
because I haven't watched any of the Fantastic Four.
Oh,
so I just was not even thinking in
Yeah.
that realm at all. I was waiting. Okay, I'll get angry in a sec. You go first.
no, get angry.
I was waiting for the Fox X-Men cameos. I was waiting for Rogue or Storm or Charles or other Charles or Magneto or other Magneto or literally anyone from those movies except fucking Pyro. But nothing. Instead, it turned out that the research I needed to do was 3 Blade movies from the 90s and the Elektra TV show.
No, it's Elektra movie.
And the Elektra movie.
Yeah.
So, fuck me, I guess. This is the big Fox wrap-up. This was the we're going to pay everyone $10 million each to come back for a scene. No one. There was one.
You should watch Multiverse of Madness instead. They've got Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier.
Yeah, there's more X-Men in the Multiverse of Madness than there are in the Deadpool movie. Not even Colossus or Negasonic Teenage Warhead, who were in the 2 previous movies?
They're in the start of this.
Yeah, barely. Juggernaut recast?
Yeah, Juggernaut's recast. I'm kind of the Juggernaut, bitch. I have a bit of... basically, you'd recognise me from the helmet, not the face, but the helmet covers most of the face, so maybe if you squint, you won't notice I'm not the Juggernaut, bitch.
Obviously I just watched the movie and had a good time, and then it finished and I had a bad time. And this didn't occur to me until maybe a few hours later. And I went, wait a minute.
What about the 23?
Yeah, but she was in a trailer.
Oh, I didn't.
That's why I said don't watch the final trailer maybe.
Yeah, right. I found out why she was in the trailer.
Yeah?
Laura Kenny wanted to go to the premiere. She was like, I would actually like to be able to celebrate this movie with other people.
So fair.
And so that, yeah.
They're like, great, you're also doing 400 press events now.
Yeah. We have some other fun... Wait, what?
We have Henry Cavill.
We have Henry Cavill.
We have Short Wolverine.
We have Short Wolverine. Short Wolverine was very fun.
Short Wolverine got a laugh. We have...
Classic comic accurate 5'3" Wolverine.
We have a bunch of the Wasteland things that you were talking about. They're just like, hey, you remember
Were any of
this
those
thing?
notable? You're pointing at the helicarrier like that meant something.
Yeah, because you like the helicarrier in you. When we went back and watched Deadpool 1 recently, you couldn't get over the helicarrier.
Oh, the helicarrier.
Like, is that a shield, Harry? Were they going to cross them over? Is this? Oh, okay. Huge night for Toad. I said this to you almost immediately after the movie finished. Huge night for Toad.
Toad's back. I like Toad and Pyro. I thought they were both great. Pyro, underrated part of Zatu.
No, he's a rated part of Zatu.
What do you mean?
Everyone sees exactly what's going on and we go, yeah, that's Pyro.
But he's fun because you're like, oh, he's friends with Bobby, whatever. They're sort of fire and ice, obviously. But, maybe he's a little mean, but he's still part of the team. And then as soon as Bobby's family out him to the police, Pyro's like, all right, I'm going to burn all of the police and then go with Magneto. Because he's a gay ally.
I was going to say. Yeah, well, you want gay allies? They didn't have Charles or Eric in this.
Did you want them?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because those performances are so good, and then they cast younger actors, and they were also so good, and then they had all of those characters interact, and somehow it still worked. Mm-hmm. And this was the big finale. Mm-hmm. This was the last chance to see any of that.
All right. I'm going to have a little fanboy moment.
Okay.
And talk about what I wish the movie was.
Yes!
So when they were doing when they announced they were doing Deadpool 3 and it was going to be the last one of the Z-Men films, the last Fox Z-Men sort of thing, I thought, it would be great if they adapted the comic Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Do Deadpool Kills the Fox Universe.
Yep.
Where he just goes around, kills everyone, so that he can, he'll be the last of them, and then he can join the MCU or whatever. I think that something along those lines would have been fun. I think that this, because it was set within the MCU, it did feel a bit drab. I don't know. Okay. I think that what would have been really cool is if we had a really good dark third act. Mm-hmm. By that I mean third act to the 3-movie structure.
Oh, yep.
Like, if in this, Deadpool is like, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. Also, they're, I can't do this superhero thing. Either they're killing my universe or... Hold on, wait, I need to think about this for 2 seconds. I think what would have been great motivation, and it works kind of within this TVA pruning whatever, is if instead of the Fox universe just dying, right, because its prime Wolverine or whatever died, so it's going to die in a few thousand years and they want to kill it quickly, whatever, is if instead of that, what they have is the TVA saying, hey, Deadpool, this universe needs to go because we've just decided it needs to be pruned. Mm-hmm. We just decided there's no value in it. Play off that Disney deciding there's no value in the Fox universe, whatever. So we need to kill it. That's going to be a lot of work. If you do it for us, you can join the MCU. And he has that fourth wall breaking. He knows what the MCU is. He's like, oh shit, I can be an Avenger. I can actually be that hero that I want to be. Fuck, all my friends are here. However, Vanessa doesn't like me anymore. The X-Force, they split up. They don't really give a shit. My best friends left because my best friend was a bad person in real life. Fuck you, TJ Miller, or whatever your name is. And you make him a disenfranchised superhero. Where, maybe you still have Colossus like trying to fight for him, being like, no, be a good person, Wade. And he kills him. You have him be this awful person. He's going through this mission of killing. Maybe, you could keep some of that essence of their prime people that keep the storyline going. So it's like, he needs to kill all of the main Fox Universe's men, all those characters that we know and love, so that the franchise can die. Because once they exist, what are we watching the Fox men films for? Yeah. So make it real. You can make it real meta.
Yes,
like,
I'd watch that.
Kill all of the main characters so no one gives a shit anymore about the Fox men universe and only cares about the Disney MCU. Yeah. I think that would be
That'd be great.
Really fun. And like, what would the moral be? I don't know. How would it end?
You can just have
up?
fun if it's good enough.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, also draw upon relationships that already exist. And I'm not just talking about Vanessa, but I'm talking about characters like Negasonic Teenage
Literally
Warhead.
Anyone from the previous movie. Literally give Deadpool anyone that he knows or has a connection to or is existing friends or enemies with or literally any sense of through line or any sense of this being a real world. Yeah. That would be nice.
What you could also do, right, is like if you wanted to keep this Deadpool and Wolverine, you could have Wolverine be the antagonist because this is set before Logan, technically. Like, the timeline's real messy in this.
We don't talk about the Fox timeline.
But like instead of having Logan already be dead, make Logan the antagonist, the person that's trying to stop him, or make Logan team them up again. Deadpool jumps between universes like he does here, finds the worst Logan who really does not give a shit, who's a drunk, and is like, hey, I've realized that I can't actually do that. Maybe he goes against Colossus and like gets his head chopped off and Deadpool's, fuck, maybe I can't beat these people. Sort of like how he does with a lot of the Wolverines at the start of this film. He's like, fuck, I need some help. I'm going to get help from the biggest, baddest men I know. I'm going to find a universe where I can grab a Logan and team up and also promise him the world, promise him, hey, we can, same thing. Like we can fix your world if you destroy this one. It's one for one, that's how it works.
Yeah. Or even take the Logan from that world or from that universe or another one, team them up through the movie, more or less as you did, and then at the end reveal that like Wolverine is one of the anchor beings and so that universe can die. The TVA says, and like your last assignment before we let you into the sacred timeline, you got to kill Wolverine. Yeah. Because he's got to be dead like he was at the end of Logan or something.
Or they tell each of them. Maybe
you have to kill the other.
You have to kill the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're mates and then they punch for a bit.
Yeah, a reversion of the time-honored trope.
See, I feel like something like that would be, I don't know, give me something fun and gritty and also, they do pay homage to a lot of the Zemen, but like set it in the Zemen world then. Set, if you're doing this as a send-off.
I was astonished by how long we spent in the Wasteland. We went there and I was like, oh, cool, we're going to do 15 minutes of cameos and then get back to the story. But the whole story was set there so that they could use anyone without thinking too hard about it. But basically, listeners, if you're not following, the time variance authority in the Marvel Universe is protecting one timeline and everyone else they throw into a big pit where they get eaten by a cloud demon.
For the most part.
Yeah, it's like the place to put IP or characters when you want them forgotten or when you want to wrap up a universe or whatever. And they spend most of the movie there. But the problem with that is, because you can pull anyone from anywhere, first of all, nothing's that surprising. Like, sure, the cameos were fun when they appeared, but anyone can be anyone. Yeah. There's also no creative thought put into how they appear or arrive. And there's this lack of existing relationship thing. Like, yeah, it's Sabretooth, but like, which one? Yeah. Or even if it's the exact one that I know from the Fox movies, it's like, I don't care because it's a waste. None of this is real. None of this is happening. It just feels like they can throw anything in there and it's just, I don't know, make it creative. Think about it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was talking about when I said before I was disappointed that the trailer was representative of the whole film.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this, but I wanted to be able to do spoilers just in case they came up. Because, just, I don't know. Everyone rocks up there, and they were fun because it's nice when an actor you recognize shows up, but because it can be anyone, they don't feel special anymore. Yeah. Or something. And also, it's hard to feel like the fight of this resistance against, like, Nova means anything because everyone's doomed to be swallowed by a demon and this is an empty wasteland and also just another variant of someone will appear if you wait long enough. Like, nothing feels... And I like that what that does for Nova's character in terms of like, I've been waiting to have a Wolverine down here. Or like, haven't had a Charles down here yet. Or, I like that she's literally insane because nothing means anything.
Yes.
The everything everywhere all at once effect. Yeah. But other than that, it also means that for us as an audience, nothing means anything. Yeah. Which is bad.
I think it worked a bit better in Loki almost, when in Loki season 1 where they got stuck in the land in between, the land before time, whatever it's called. The wasteland, and like, shit, we're stuck in this wasteland. What do we do? It's so empty. Oh, there's this weird colossus. We've been walking for days. There's this weird colossus cloud thing that's coming around. I don't know. It just felt more empty. This felt full. But it's a weird. Is it endless? But it doesn't feel endless. It doesn't feel. It's
weird.
Set in a real fun place. I think Deadpool worked really well.
Like a Honda Odyssey.
Genuinely, one of the best bits in this. Yeah. I think they gave them too much money.
Honestly, yeah.
Take some of the money. Take all the money back.
Yeah.
One of the, they had other pitches for this film, and I mentioned the one about Alpha Cop. One of the ones was it was going to be a buddy road trip comedy thing. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been fun. One of them was like a $10 million really strip it back, make it nothing sort of thing. Like, they threw a lot of darts at the wall.
Yeah.
I'm kind of...
It just feels like it could have been many things and it was instead grown in a lab by committee.
The committee was made of Deadpools, to be fair.
The committee was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And Hugh Jackman.
I don't think... Oh, yeah. Was he a producer on this? Probably. Everyone produces everything nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I don't know what Hugh Jackman's output looks like. Ryan Reynolds has had a bit more say in the stuff he makes, maybe. It's interesting to me that the 3 Deadpool movies have been directed by 3 different directors and...
No, 2 and 3 were directed by the same people, weren't they?
No.
Really?
Yeah. And you can't... again, I thought the same thing until I checked.
It was Tim Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
David Leitch.
And
then Sean Levi.
No wonder number 2 feels like a John Wick film.
Yeah. And it's kind of what I was, they do, yes, there are differences, I'm being unfair, but I guess I was going to say they kind of feel like one artistic voice, and that's because it's Ryan Reynolds' artistic voice.
Yes. But they do feel like 3 distinctive films as well.
I struggle to differentiate the first 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
I think I'm wrong, and I think you're right, but
Tim Miller left quite late in the leading up to production of number 2. But I do think that
this one feels different, that's for sure.
This one feels different. I think when I think about some of the stylistic choices between 1 and 2, there are quite a few differences. I think that I will always go to number 1 as the quintessential Deadpool. I can just get behind Deadpool's motivation. I love him yelling out, "Fuck Francis," and all that. I don't know. It's just such a funny bit. Like, there are so many good, funny bits in that one. And also some of the fun of it is alluding to, MCU stuff, but not saying, pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
But now that...
It does kind of feel like all the boundaries were removed, and so Deadpool's got nothing left to break.
Well, there are quite a few things like, should you be saying that? In terms of Wesley Snipes saying, "I'm Blade. It was one Blade. There only will be one Blade." And Deadpool looks at the camera and is like, yeah, as it should be or whatever. It pushes some bounds of like... Apparently there was one joke that they were told to cut or tamify. Yeah. I don't know what the joke is. They didn't tell us.
We'll find out.
We'll find out eventually.
I'm going to let that slip.
Yeah. Should we...
Should you? Who should see this? Because it's not a should you, it's a who should see this. Because it's definitely for some people.
For most, the thing is with Deadpool 1 and 2, I would recommend them to just about everyone. Because I'm like, this isn't a thing that you've really seen before. Who should watch this? Fans of Deadpool 1 and 2. Fans of the MCU. If you like the MCU, you think, what if they reinvigorated it a little bit? What if they just put one defibrillator on the chest, right?
Right.
If you like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, I think Wolverine was still probably better in Logan. I didn't hate Wolverine here. It was Wolverine. I don't know. I think you've soured me on this.
I actually want to, as my who should watch this, I want to read Enemy of the Pod Prim's review.
Oh, Prim has seen this?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do you have a star rating as well?
There is a star rating.
Okay.
Prim's given it 2 stars. Okay. This could have been really good. Deadpool is funny and Wolverine is cool. Could have been a great opportunity to bring in new or fringe viewers to Marvel. Instead, it was a self-serving reference fest, constantly making fun of the exact thing it was doing. Constant dumb fucking fourth wall jokes about haha Fox that only the most diehard of losers get. And they probably are so proud of themselves for getting the references. Whenever the movie stopped being so obsessed with this and actually focused on the action, there were some seriously awesome fight scenes and shit, and I did enjoy that, especially in a fully booked IMAX. People were hooting and hollering every time there was this new stupid-ass cameo. I was hooting and hollering every time Logan drank a new liquor. I saw Johnny Red, Jim Beam, and Jack Daniels. At least I saw this with the prettiest woman in the whole cinema. Suck it, nerds. Now, I agree with the sentiment of this review, but as a most diehard of loser who was very proud of myself for getting the references.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this.
Yes,
I think this review speaks to who should see this.
Yeah.
If you know what this is going to be and you know that you're going to enjoy it and you're a big dumb nerd, you should watch this. If you're a regular person, I don't think you should see this. I don't think it's maybe very good, maybe. No, I don't think it's good. I don't think. I don't know what I think.
The other thing is, I think that a regular person would really enjoy this in terms of the funny jokes and the decent enough action. I think anyone would like this MCU movie as much as any given MCU movie.
I'm not sure. I just can't.
I would say watch this over Doctor Strange in the Multiverse.
Oh, yeah, but low bar.
Yeah, but like you would recommend that to a random person who might be interested in watching a superhero movie.
I wouldn't recommend either of these to a random person who is interested in watching a superhero movie.
Oh, but not like, hey, I want to watch a good one. Like I've seen quite a few of these. Should I see this new one?
No.
I want to go to the cinema.
There's so much on. I say that without having looked at what's on.
If you... Yeah, like this.
I'm not recommending this to regular people in my regular life. This is a secret weird nerd thing that I've gone to see, and I just happen to have publicized the fact that I saw it.
But Deadpool 1 and 2, you would or wouldn't?
If someone hadn't seen any Deadpool, I would suggest watching 1 and seeing how they feel about the tone. But
Deadpool 2, I remember going to the cinema with you and our friend Yannon, and I don't think you'd seen...
I don't think I'd seen
Deadpool
1 at that point.
I don't know if Yannon had... You hadn't watched a whole lot of Marvel movies at the time.
Well, if it was 2018, no.
Yeah, and you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, until I walked out of the cinema, probably.
No, you really enjoyed it. It's a new thing that you've discovered your Deadpool.
Yeah, it is actually.
Not fatigue, amnesia.
No, all of it.
Until you watch it. And
schizophrenia. I have every mental condition exclusively in relation to Deadpool movies.
Who this movie is...
I have Deadpool depression, Deadpool anxiety, Deadpool ADHD probably. Yeah. I feel like they shorten my attention. I sit down in a Deadpool movie and my attention span, I reckon it goes down to about 10% of what it normally is. I'm like, show me the next thing. Like that.
I think mine goes up.
Yours goes up. You're more patient in a Deadpool movie?
Yeah, because they're giving me jokes at 1,000,000 miles a second. I'm like, great.
I think we're describing the same thing in 2 different ways.
I think peak who this is for, though. Now, to wrap up our 5-minute segment on who this is for, I think this is for people who get the Gambit being played by, what's his name?
Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum joke. Who understand that, like, for years Channing Tatum has been vying to get this, to have a movie as Gambit, was locked in multiple times. The movie was in production multiple times, never got it happening, was very upset about it.
I saw a post from someone who was hired twice on the Channing Tatum Gambit movie.
Yeah.
And never got made.
Yeah. So for people who understand this, that it was never really put in the public eye at all, never a trailer, never a costume release, never anything like that. The only press release was when they did a big, here's the Fox, all the cast of the Fox universe, sort of like they did with the
Fantastic
Universal
Beasts.
Marvel.
No, the Dark Universe.
Dark Universe, yeah. And Fantastic Beasts, where they get everyone in one room and take a photo. But you're like, these are probably different times that they've taken the photo and they've photoshopped them all together. He was in one of those. For people who get that reference and thought that was very funny, aka moi, this movie's for you.
Yeah.